Probably gonna have to do a video on everyone trying this.
I refuse. I will vomit all over.
I know that'll be
texture.
funny. Yeah. Welcome back to Between Two Barrels. I'm your host Anthony Evans, along with my colleague Scott Halligan. Scott, how's the wife and kids?
We're doing better. We're going to the park later today.
Oh, it's a very heartfelt story. Today we're going to be going over the overview of spirits in general, the quick video on the different categories of liquor, basically how we have it set up in the store. We'll go deeper into each category in individual videos later on our YouTube channel. But without further ado, let's get into spirits. First up, we're going to go over vodka, general consumption. This is one of the most drunk spirits in the world. It's the easiest spirit to mix with, so a lot of people that aren't interested in the burn of alcohol will gravitate towards vodka. Derives from the word voda, which in Russian means water.
Vodka, per the U.S., our general legal defining is basically it can be any spirit. It can come from any base product to ferment and then distill from, but it has to be neutral. Typically what that means is that you distill to a point where it's so high proof that it loses what are called congeners that give flavor based off the original distillate, the original grain or fruit or whatever. Those are taken out.
Vodka has no cholesterol, sodium, yeast, carbs, or fat, making it one of the purest man-made drinks in history.
And like all other distilled spirits, it is gluten-free.
Yes. Again, say that again. All
Like all distilled spirits, it is gluten-free.
Also, vodka gave us the wonderful drink called the tapeworm shot.
Oh,
Are you familiar with that, Scott?
I am not familiar with this at all.
Alright, let me tell you about it. It is 1 ounce vodka, 1 ounce mayonnaise,
Excuse you?
and 2 dashes of Tabasco. And you guys thought Malort was bad.
So the Tabasco and mayo I don't mind, but vodka is where, like, Tabasco mayo's tasty, like on a sandwich, but I don't want to drink it.
You put it in a cup. I mean, yeah, we're probably gonna have to do a video on everyone trying this.
I refuse. I will vomit all over.
I know that'll be
texture.
funny. Yeah.
I am not willing to do that. I'm good with most textures.
How about a smoker's cough?
What's a smoker's cough?
Smoker's cough is 1.5 ounces Jägermeister, mayonnaise.
No mayo. No mayo.
I don't know what else. Next up, we have brandy. This is a Scotch specialty.
I do love brandy. Brandy is going to be any spirit distilled from any kind of fruit mash. Now that can be either the base flesh of the fruit, but that can also be things like hummus or leftovers after winemaking is done, and even including things like pits and stems and seeds. A big popular brandy that I think everyone has heard of at least once is going to be cognac. That's going to be brandy produced in the Charente region of France, and it's produced from Ugly Blanc, Belay Blanc, and a couple other predominant white wine grapes there. But there's also really exciting, very versatile spirits like Armagnac, its brother Calvados, which is going to be from Normandy, which is apple brandy, or my favorite, which is going to be American apple brandy, specifically things like Laird's. Laird's is really cool and it is delicious. It's like bourbon and apples have maybe.
Yeah, for all of you bourbon guys that are always looking for something new to try, this one would definitely be a category I would think that y'all could get into. Next up, we have gin. Distilled spirit from juniper berries and other botanical ingredients.
Thanks, taking on my fire.
Huh? Gin's definitely, it is a drink for, not for me.
Not
I'm trying to find a nice way to say it.
I love gin. I think gin is great. there is so many different ways and so many different things to make and do with gin, and you can make gin in so many different. The thing that's really cool about it is that the legal definition of gin is that it has to be made with juniper berries, but it's basically a redistillation or infusion of any spirit with botanicals/juniper berries. That means that you can have a vodka that is it's basically vodka typically, but you can have just like a really cheap wheat spirit and then distill that with cardamom and black pepper and Valencia orange peels, or you could do like an apple brandy brewed with like or redistilled with anise and wormwood and Turkish what's it called, root angelica and shit. There's just a bunch of different ways to create a unique spirit, and that's why and something that's really exciting is no gin will ever taste the same. There's a large category of gins called London dry gins that are always going to be that very piney, very earthy quality, but there's a ton of subtle complexities between all of them.
Next up, we have whiskey. The wonderful world of whiskey.
The one that's
Man, this thing is blown up. Become quite popular. Just a tad bit.
Whiskey is.
We got a whole.
Yeah, we do have a
Picture of it.
little. There's a bunch. There's a lot of whiskey in the world, and that is because whiskey is going to be any spirit that is distilled from grain. That can be anything from corn, wheat, barley, rye, sorghum, and a bunch of others that I'm just not even going to go into because I'm not thinking of them right now. But the most popular types of whiskey is going to be Scotch and, of course, bourbon. We sell a ton of it. We sell so much that it is definitely the big kind of people that are getting into sipping spirits and getting into like the hobby side of mixing. It's definitely the big one. It's most guys, whether they be young or old, fit or fat, are gonna like bourbon.
Okay, thought that went well. Next up, for our last one, the one that I definitely didn't forget about, rum.
No one forgets about rum. Rum is definitely not forgettable at all. Unfortunately,
Just by experience.
yeah, a lot of people kind of underplay rum. Rum, of course, is any spirit that is distilled from byproducts of sugar production or sugar cane itself. There's a absolute plethora of varieties and flavors that can come from rum. It is probably my favorite spirit to sip on or to mix or to play with and make cocktails. There are so many different islands and categories, and you can find it here, you can find it anywhere you go. There's probably going to be at least one rum distillery out there.
You can even find it under there.
I think where rum really shines is as an amazing value for sipping. There's a bunch of spiced rums, and that's what people typically think of when you think of rum is spiced rum, the stuff that you're mixing with Diet Coke or doing shots of. But there are loads of rums from Jamaica, Guyana, Barbados, Trinidad, Martinique, Guadalupe. There's so many amazing rums that are really great for sipping that are going to be much more fair for your wallet because they aren't as popular as things like whiskey and tequila. But I love it. It's delicious.
Rum's a fun category, and it's another one that seems like a lot of the bourbon, some of the bourbon guys are gravitating towards after the.
I think Barbados for bourbon guys and Jamaica for Scotch guys. Yes, there is. It has taken a little bit of time for them to really get up, but those Diplomaticos, especially those, if you're willing to spend a little bit more, not nearly as much as you would spend on your upper end.
40 for their top tier.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Diplomatico has a $99 bottle, and that is expensive, but comparatively to some other spirits, when you look at top tiers that are going to be $500, $600, it drinks just as good.
Now, last up, tequila mezcal. So a lot of people might not know this, but tequila is a mezcal.
Mezcal is not tequila.
No, it's kind of the same with bourbon being a whiskey, but whiskey not being a bourbon. Basically, all mezcal is a distilled agave spirit. There are multiple different agaves in Mexico, but tequila has to be 100% Blue Weber agave.
And there is a lot of offshoots of tequila and mezcal as well. You have things like raicilla and sotol. But sotol and raicilla are the two that we have in our store.
Yeah.
We have some freaking spectacular sotols. The Desert Door, I believe it's called.
Yeah, Desert Door Sotol, that's actually done in Texas. They cook their Sotol like agave, or like tequila, rather than like a mezcal.
Yeah.
Where they put them in burn pits.
I would say for anyone that's a big Scotch drinker, try mezcal. If you like smoke, or rather for my Isla guys that like Isla Scotch, try mezcal. It is so close flavor-wise. Obviously, it's going to be different, but you're going to get those big, salty, smoky, earthy characters out, and it's delightful.
Yeah, they cook the piñas or the maguey in the burn pit for 3 days.
Yeah. And
That's that's why it gets the smokiness.
Yeah, and if you have a hard-on for spending a lot of money, you'll definitely do that with mezcal too.
Yeah, there are certain mezcals that are tough. I mean, some of them take for I think Blue Weber agave, it takes 7 to 10 years to mature for the agave plant to mature.
Yeah.
The other ones, a lot of mezcals, I mean, you're looking 15 to 25 years. And the ones obviously that take 25 years to mature, it's gonna be pretty pricey.
Yeah. And it's also the reason why a lot of times you'll see that they do not age mezcal. A lot of times, even though I would call it mostly sipping spirit, mezcal is typically not aged, and it's because you want to be getting out that richness and complexity that the base plant has.
And what you're looking for on tequila, and then Blanco, which can be aged up to 2 months in anything in steel or wood barrel. And you have a Reposado, which is aged from 2 months to a year in any kind of oak that you're looking for. Most of the time, it's going to be French oak.
It's predominantly French oak.
Or old whiskey.
Yeah, and then you'll see American oak used kind of near towards the finishing times.
Añejo is 1 to 3 years, and the next one Añejo is 3 years plus.
I like my oak.
As you age it in the oak, it takes on the characteristics of that oak, and you start to lose some of the agave. Legend has it that mezcal was discovered because lightning struck an agave plant. And all
I
it
never
did,
knew.
yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Not sure if that
Not-
needs any water,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, thanks for watching Between Two Barrels with us again. Next, as we're going to go through this, we're going to start going into specific categories. We're going to dive much deeper into it. This was, again, just an overview of spirits in general.
we really appreciate you guys taking the time to view our videos, and we love it when you guys like our videos and also share and subscribe. It means a lot to us.
Like and subscribe. Maybe we'll do a video with Doug since he wants to be in them so bad.
And leave a comment as well, please, as my producer has instructed me to say. And yeah, hopefully maybe this guy will have in a more predominant spot since he really hates being away from the camera.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time on Between Two Barrels.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Mark's probably working for those filthy. He wants to be a part.
Go get your phone. Where's your phone? Can you go get it? Oh no, here comes pizza.
Pizza! Oh, thank you, friend. Go grab the pizza for us.
Definitely fits your favorite flavor.
Moving and there's people here.
Not too people.